Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week. The $60 million agro-processing facility in Region 2 is complete and will soon be outfitted with high-end equipment ahead of its official opening. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, toured the facility on Sunday.
The construction of this facility serves, in fact, multiple purposes. Firstly, it will allow students of the GSA who are based in Essequibo to be able to complete their practical training in a live and practical environment, almost like a living laboratory. Entrepreneurs living in Essequibo will be able to come, bring their fresh produce to this facility and use the facility for the purposes of packaging, whether it is, like I said, pepper sauces, spices, condiments, jams, and so on. They'll be able to use these facilities here in order to process and package their products for marketing.
As part of government's quest to improve primary healthcare services in the hinterland region, 61 persons on Sunday graduated as certified community health workers to serve villages in Region 9. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, says it has always been a challenge to get health workers to serve the interior regions. As such, the government decided to ensure there were adequate staffing by training persons from specific regions to serve their own communities.
One of the biggest challenges that we've had was to find people to work at these levels. And even after all these years, we still find it challenging. So over the last year and a half, we have taken a decision that we are going to try, especially in the interior of our country, to make sure that we have adequate personnel to start staffing the facilities that we have.
Meanwhile, a team of skilled doctors at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation have performed some groundbreaking surgeries. Dr. Anthony said those surgeries conducted last week is evidence of the transformational development taking place in the public health sector.
It means is that our doctors are highly trained and skilled professionals, and given the right environment and the opportunity, they'll be able to do more of these types of surgeries. And with the investments that we're making in the public health sector in terms of instruments, theaters, equipment, and other facilities, we will be able to do more of these surgeries, not just in Georgetown, but in some of the regional hospitals as well. And that's our goal over the next couple of years.
February 14, 2022 has been set as the new completion date for the Sheriff Mandela Road project. The said project has been reported substantially completed, with more than 95% of the works already undertaken. This was disclosed by Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Edgell, who assessed the project on Tuesday.
We have agreed with the Inter-American Development Bank, which is financing this program, as a result of COVID-related delays. All the other works, apart from this 600 meters which will be paved within the next 48 hours or so, that everything else, the installation of the lights, the signals, the guardrails and everything, should and must be completed by the 14th of February 2022. What remains to be done are the 325 lights that you just saw. The installation is ongoing. That will be moving apace in the next couple of weeks. We have the traffic signals. The poles are here, right? The traffic signal poles are here. And we're waiting on the arrival of the actual lights. There'll be some fine works in terms of the guardrails. And the poles for the vertical signs are here, and we are waiting on the arrival of the signs.
Several residents of Bartica Region 7 finally received their certificates of titles for lands they have been occupying for many years. The title documents were distributed during a Central Housing and Planning Authority's housing exercise at the Bartica Community Centre ground, led by Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell.
All that is delaying me is that I'm awaiting the confirmation from Guyana Lands and Survey Commission for the land that will be provided for our housing program. House lots, housing program. Note my two words, right? And I could have gotten it already, but where GLSC is giving me is a little further out. So I'm actually trying to see very closer to Bartica proper, as close as possible for our house lots allocation.
A total of 500 lots are being developed in the new Charity Housing Scheme Region 2. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, on Sunday visited the scheme to have a first-hand look of the area. Dr. Singh said of the 500 lots, 400 will be for home ownership, while the remainder will be for commercial and industrial purposes.
This is going to be an incredibly exciting development because it's going to provide, ultimately it's going to lead to 400 families being able to have their own home in this area. And in that regard, I want to say, in fact, I should mention that there's tremendous demand for house lots in Region 2. In fact, so far, just for this year, we've already distributed 700 house lots just in Region 2 alone.
Dr. Singh said the PPPC administration's housing program has been exceptional, with thousands of young people being able to become homeowners. The development of the Leparfit Harmony and Diamond Grove are just a few to mention.
We intend to continue rolling out this housing program aggressively. As you know, we have committed to distributing, I think it's 10,000 house lots per annum. You have seen the energy and vigor with which the Ministry of Housing has already set about implementing His Excellency's mandate in this regard.
Meanwhile, upgrade of the Lima Sand Access Road could be completed ahead of schedule, benefiting 1,500 households. To date, the $136.7 million project is about 30% completed.
We have been pressing very hard for all contracts to move forward in a timely manner because we want citizens to get the benefit of the services that will become available, the ease of transportation, ease of moving in and out. Derives the benefit of the road being constructed. In this instance, I'm pleased to be advised that that is actually happening, that the contractor is working through the 7 days a week and through the nights as well with lights. We're pushing hard to get the road completed in the shortest possible time. It was anticipated originally when the contract would have been awarded that it would have been completed early next year. But I think if they continue to move at this pace, it's likely that they could finish before the end of this year, before the end of 2021. And we're pushing very aggressively to see if that is achievable.
The Agriculture Science Department of the North Georgetown Secondary School was on Wednesday boosted with a number of planting materials along with broiler birds from the Ministry of Agriculture.
They have written to me asking that they need some help in terms of their to help them in their agriculture department. And as a ministry, I am very happy to note that the schools are interested in developing the agriculture sector. As a matter of fact, early next year I will launch a program where we will do some value-added crops, things like broccoli, cauliflowers, carrots. You know, many times young people have the idea that agriculture is mostly a minimal job and agriculture is for the mature population. But I am happy that the students here from the agriculture department are very interested in terms of developing the agriculture department and this school, and hopefully that they can excel in the agriculture field and move on to expand the agriculture sector in our country. We have 250 cabbage plants, 256 celery plants, 128 lettuce plants, 128 tomato plants. And I've asked the NARI CEO to make available to y'all broccoli and cauliflower and also carrots, and we'll donate a shade house to this school. Also, we'll be making 50 broilers chicken available to the school.
Minister Mustafa said a team from the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute will visit the school to assist with developing a farming environment. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Onid Walren, has officially commissioned the Guyana National Bureau of Standards' new office in Madia, Region 8.
As a government, we want to ensure that no one feels less important than a resident of Georgetown. We want you to have the same access as those in the urban parts of the country.
The office will, among other things, conduct verification of all measuring devices relative to trade, screen the 17 categories of products monitored by the GNBS, and calibrate all high-accuracy balances used in the gold industry.
These are the kinds of interventions that the ministry and government will continue to be engaged in to demonstrate that when we talk about one Guyana, it is not empty rhetoric. To the regional chairman, REO, and the other administrators, I am making a special appeal to spread the word about these benefits that are available to all Guyanese. The Madia office for the Guyana National Bureau of Standards represents a significant investment by the government of Guyana.
Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, says the government is working towards ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. He made the announcement on Wednesday at the National AIDS Programme Secretariat during the observation of World AIDS Day 2021.
We can get past that despite COVID, and that we can work to end AIDS by 2030. Now, this has been a dream for a lot of people for a long time. But if we stay on track and if we work hard, we can be able to do that. And that's what we have to set our sights on.
Minister Anthony says a number of measures will be undertaken to prevent further spread of the disease. These include reinforcing sex education in the school system, encouraging frequent testing, becoming virally suppressed, and introduction of pre-exposure prophylaxis, among other measures. 40 Amerindian leaders from various coastal areas have completed a 2-day mediation training program at the National Exhibition Centre, Sophia. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai on Thursday said the training will enhance the skills of these community leaders to better respond to matters coming before them.
Our leaders and councillors from the village council we afforded them the opportunity to participate in a mediation training. Mediation for village councils are very important. On a daily basis, they will experience various issues, problematic issues, complaints, and some sensitive and some very difficult ones. And so this training will aid in them addressing some of the resolution of those issues that come before them. Ever so often, village councillors and leaders will have to deal with issues of land as it relates to those land users, whether they're residents or non-residents, because the Amerindian Act allows for a number of engagements both with residents and it provides also scope for engaging non-residents in investment, in agriculture, sustainable use of the land. And whenever that happens, leaders must be prepared to address issues that come up that may need mediation.
The Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs has responded to what he deemed misplaced criticisms of the proposed amendments to the Representation of the People Act. AG Nandlal says many calls being made publicly at this time are for things not intended to be done via the current proposed amendments. One particular criticism is that the proposed amendments to Article 13 fail to address the fundamental issues affecting elections in Guyana.
Their criticism is misplaced and has no basis in this equation. They call for a different political system. The political system that we have in Guyana is one that is provided for in our constitution. The supreme law, we can't change that as a singular political party or as a government. We do not have sufficient number of votes in the National Assembly to do so. And we said that from the commencement of this exercise. So this organization that is calling for a change in the political system is misguided in its call, because this exercise cannot deliver that. It does not intend to deliver that.
Residents of 5 Miles, Bartica Region 7 will soon access portable water in their homes for the first time. The Guyana Water Incorporated is procuring a $30 million water booster pump to provide water to the community.
We are expecting the booster pumps to arrive sometime in December. And once it arrives, it will come here to be installed. That's all I'm waiting on, just for the pumps to arrive. I won't stand here and then say, because I'm expecting the arrival somewhere around the 20th of December. So I wouldn't say for Christmas, but I will say before the year is finished. Once the pumps are here, 5 Miles will definitely get their water for the very first time. And I want to apologize on behalf of us from management level and from GWI and this government for the delay. We have the civil works component, which will see us putting the pipe system, putting the area, the housing, and the area where we'll put the booster pumps, as well as for the electromechanical system to function. So we have done the transformer, we've put everything in place there. All we are waiting for now is the arrival of the pumps.
The Board of Industrial Training under the Ministry of Labour is in the process of graduating those persons who have successfully completed skills training programs under the National Training Project for Youth Empowerment. The latest graduation exercise was held at the Bartica Secondary School, Region 7. There, 41 Barticians received certificates after completing courses in garment construction, commercial food preparation, and electrical installation. During his charge, Minister Joseph Hamilton said efforts are being made to include more women into technical training programs. He made it clear that programs are not gender specific.
We cannot, as a country, seriously talk about development. And we have excluded out of the process of development tens of thousands of females. It is foolishness. Bartica cannot seriously talk about development. Region 7 cannot talk seriously about development. And you exclude nearly half or more than half of the population to participate in the development you talk about by not training them, by not giving them a skill, by just seeing them as wives and mothers. I'm committed wherever to change that.
The Ministry of Labour, through BIT, has trained over 2,000 persons in over 100 skilled areas last year. This year, 3,000 persons are expected to be trained throughout the country. 24 students from Agricola can now boast of possessing skills in information communication technology, ICT, as they graduated Friday from a government-sponsored training. Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for public affairs, Kwame McCoy, was present at St. Anne's Primary to oversee the graduation. The youths were trained in the areas of computer literacy, internet computing, and office productivity. Minister McCoy emphasized the paramountcy of the ICT sector to the development of the country.
ICT is one of the areas that has great relevance to our future sustenance, and how we'll be able to operate in the future, in the world of work, in community development, in the various in education, in the various aspects of our functioning in society. I challenge you this afternoon to make the best use of what you've learned so far, and to challenge yourselves to go for more, to go after more knowledge in ICT. And I can assure you, with that attitude, you guarantee a great future.
In the new year, a slew of legislation will be tabled in the National Assembly to address domestic and sexual violence. This was disclosed by Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Mohaber Anil Nandlal at the commissioning of several domestic violence interview and virtual hearing rooms in Regions 5 and 6. The Attorney General says government will continue to explore new initiatives that can have a curative effect on domestic violence.
Speaking from the position of legislation, I can indicate here that in the year 2022, the Domestic Violence Act will undergo a complete overhaul. So revamping the Domestic Violence Act would be a small measure only, but that will be done. A new trafficking in person legislation will also be tabled shortly in the National Assembly. Our Sexual Offences Act will be subjected to an overhaul in 2022 as well. A restorative justice bill will be tabled in the National Assembly very shortly in the year 2022.
The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security has launched its Survivors Kit for victims of gender-based violence. This is part of the ministry's 16 Days of Activism campaign.
When people want to leave abusive, violent relationships and circumstances, they have a pack that has basic items so that when they're leaving, sometimes I know many of them leave with just the clothing on their back and they're thinking, how can they help themselves in that immediate moment or in those immediate periods right after leaving.
The kits include toiletries, towel, food items, masks, and a few more items that can last several days. After receiving the kit, victims are also linked with a survivors advocate. At the moment, 15 advocates are being trained from across the region to support and guide victims during their journey to recovery. Guyana's tourism sector is undergoing digital transformation to foster economic growth through technology whilst promoting safer ecotourism travels amid the global pandemic. The Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, in collaboration with the Guyana Tourism Authority, launched the Beyond Tourism app on Wednesday at the Cara Lodge Hotel, Georgetown. The US $1 million app funded by the Inter-American Development Bank was created to rebound the 42% decline experienced by the tourism sector due to the nationwide lockdown and safety protocols.
I am particularly delighted to be here at the launch of this Beyond Tourism Safe Lodges, Safe Guests, Communities, Safe Communities initiative. And I would like to join the rest of the speakers in congratulating the team effort of the Guyana Tourism Authority, the Inter-American Development Bank, DAI Global, and of course Wilderness Explorers for your commitment to this project to safe travel and safe communities and bringing this concept into fruition.
Meanwhile, domestic and international tourists now have more experiences to choose from as the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce and the Guyana Tourism Authority on Friday launched 7 new experiential tours that will operate in various parts of Guyana. Kamal Baksh, acting director of the Guyana Tourism Authority, noted that experiential tours is in keeping with the brand pillars of nature and wildlife, culture and heritage, and active exploration and conservation. Baksh explained that the 7 new products bring those pillars to life, and it's what differentiates Guyana's product from the global competitors. The new tourism products are the Warpoka, Santa Arta, St. Cuthbert's Mission, Bemidji Tours, Taste of Freedom, Fort Nassau Tours, and Kanji Sunset Tours. That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov.gy, and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.